Hey, that was fast. Brandon, Brandon,
Oh,
are you lost?
oh, is the challenge over yet?
Guys.
Are we? What happened?
Oh my word.
It was a very legitimate rendition of what happened at last night's episode. I was so embarrassed for my team. I'm not wearing my orange buff anymore. And it's not even just because Ozzy's no longer on that team. It's because, bro, embarrassed. Hashtag embarrassed.
That was one of the worst challenges. And Q's at home smiling at this. He's in his Q skirt, just being like, Mike's shredded abs. They can't lift a boat. You're
How do you come up with this stuff, Brandon? This you're amazing at this, man. You go to improv class. Like this is you're very good. I mean, every week, man, you bring it.
I had amazing. A college professor tell me that I'm tremendously awesome at conversation the first 5 minutes. He didn't go on to say what happens after that.
Definitely win the Survivor talent show.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Survivor talent show. Start.
I sure hope I would after that. Can we talk about that a little bit later? That was,
I was actually going to start with that because I freaking loved it. I love that they showed us some of the goofy, we got nothing to do, we're starving.
Thank you.
This is how we are going to pass the time. I would take, now I don't want any hate from anybody because I know I'm going to get hate for this.
Oh my gosh.
I would take that talent show over a Zach Brown.
Here it comes.
Medley.
Hot takes on a Thursday.
Listen, I love that he is a super fan and that he's watched every episode. I love that he's done all of these things and his kids love it and they curl up together. But this is what happens when you take people like that and you bring them onto the show and waste our time, because we only needed, the one song, but to give him the whole deep sea fishing and all of the stuff, I wasn't there for it. I was like, can I skip ahead? I wasn't feeling it. I loved the talent show. I thought it was so much fun. And I love that they were all voting on it and they were picking their winner. And it was like, it showed the camp life. This is how we do things when we're sitting here at camp all day. You guys don't usually get to see the Zach thing. Not passed.
Can I start with this? Are you a Zach Brown fan at all?
His music's not bad, but I've never bought it or put it on a playlist. How about that?
That's okay. That's okay. It seems like it was all over Dee's playlist. And if I had to figure out where I was on this, I wish they would have made somebody more universal. Picking country music is kind of like here's 30% of the world fan base all wrapped up here. So
30% seems a little high.
Yeah, I guess so. And that is like new country, old country, like all the country, maybe even Beyonce Knowles, Queen Bee country, if you even consider that in the bracket. So maybe I appreciate, because I'm a Zach Brown fan, it was a little bit too much. I didn't need a whole entire 10-minute segment of him.
You got a whole set.
It was more than 10. It was like 15 minutes. So, I agree. I'm going to jump in because I agree with you. I actually thought it was really cool that they're doing Hands of the Fans and that they're showing that big stars are fans and look, they're willing to give their time to be here. And I thought that was really nice. And I'm going to debunk you this much, Bree, because the spearfishing part, really cool, because then it linked later on to Ozzy and his spearfishing. And I'm like, okay, I love this connection. And Ozzy came back with his little catch, 8 fish, not 7. Clock it.
Well, they also didn't give Ozzy a javelin to.
hey, no, I love his 8 fish. I'm not coming for his 8 fish. I'm saying my Ozzy is keeping up to him without a javelin. But it's just, I like that part. What I did not like was the full, like you said, 15 minutes, 2 commercials worth of them playing Zach Brown songs. I'm like, I would have liked to see him show up. I would have liked to see him connect with the group a little bit. And then it's just a quick in, quick out.
We haven't heard much from Alex yet, so I kind of want to hear his opinion. I have a little bit more to say, but I also don't want to take as much time as Zach Brown did talking about Zach Brown. So that's
good. I don't know how my connection's going to do today, so you guys got to stop me if it goes bad. But yeah, controversial take. Both of them were bad. The talent show was bad, and the Zach Brown was bad.
Where's the eject button? Right? You never showed me how to eject someone.
When they said "Hands of the Fans," they meant those signed to Universal Music Group. Those fans, Billie Eilish, these people, they're all CBS. They're all under the same agency. So I got to get on this agency because then you can get on Survivor. It was just kind of silly. Usually, I just don't like the Billie Eilish boomerang idol. And this has nothing to do with the fans. The fans did not, this was never in the fan conversation to which celebrity do you want on it. And then also this episode was about voting probably the biggest vote off ever in this season. And we get this much time to it. And it's this total blindside. It's like that was the biggest vote off of the season, probably. And it was such a huge move. And it seemed like it was like a surefire, easy vote for Emily because you never saw that Mike White's going to go home. Like, that was shocking. And then it was dominated by Zach Brown. What is his name? I don't even know.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm not a fan. I don't know him. I don't,
Zach
I'm
Brown
not a country
band.
person.
A lot of thought went into that.
Right.
Countless hours.
So much to be said about Zach Brown. I think we're over our Zach Brown limit. I'm counting 8 minutes, which means we're about halfway for Zach Brown to still be on, collecting his fish with his javelin and stuff like that. I guess the connection I see with Zach Brown, last thing I want to say, is that he is a fan. It is cool to see that they bring fans out. They're not just going to bring rando fans out to Fiji, fly them out, and say, hey, you're a fan, come do this. So in order to get a fan out there, you had to go with the celebrity that some people know. Whether Zach Brown was the guy to do it, I appreciate that he's actually Survivor-like he can go out and spearfish and hunt and get food. And I think just the home connection, I mean, to me, I viewed the songs as sort of a call back to home type thing. Hopefully they get a family visit this season. That'd be super cool if they did. I want to see that back. And so it's too early for letters. And so what a kind of cool way to kind of bridge the gap. And you did get emotion out of the survivors. I mean, Dee was hurt more than I've ever seen Dee hurt before because of this not getting this reward challenge. So a free concert, it could have been done, I agree, Alex and Bree, by somebody that's more known by a lot of people. Yeah, how many times you have to sell out Fenway Park in order to be more known by people? Probably try a different genre of music is the guess. But
I really didn't even care it was Zach. I didn't care. Zach Brown. He's great. His song was great. Whatever.
Yeah, he's a likable guy.
I was cool with it. He was. Yeah, it was really cool that he did go fishing, and then they had this barbecue. But been give me a few bars and we're done. But he did 2 full songs. It was the point where it just started to go too long. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, it could stop. I didn't care it was Zach. When music doesn't matter. I know
the chicken fried song. When he said it, I knew who it was. I can see it right now, but I won't embarrass you all. I know it. So I don't love country, but I know that song. So I'll give him that.
But I agree with Alex. We're probably spending too much time on Zach Brown, even though we could probably go another hour with Zach Brown.
So if you were drinking a shot of coconut water every single time we said Zach Brown, you are now fully hydrated. Genevieve, let's close this out.
Okay, I had a quick question for Alex because I wanted to ask because you said something about the celebrities being on here, and I'm all for it. I love it as long as they do it in moderation. I like it. It's a good connection. But my question for you is, you said that Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol is not loving it. If it was not called the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, would you then have liked it? Because I think the powers of the Boomerang Idol are really good if treated properly. So if we didn't bring Billie Eilish into it, would you have then liked the idol? Or even if they had done JoJo Siwa, because doesn't she have that song Boomerang? But anyway, you get the point. If it wasn't,
I want to see the Waka Flocka vote blocka. That's what I want to see.
If it wasn't tied to a celebrity, would it change your views?
I don't like the Boomerang Idol because it just gives the idol to somebody who just totally doesn't deserve it. And then you're just empowering the weakest people who do essentially nothing on the tribe. So you're just rewarding people who don't even find an idol, who are weak. I know you want to vote them off. So it's just, I just don't that's the idol is supposed to be something that's like a reward. And then you just give it to Rizzo. Again, it went to somebody, it's going to the people I don't like. So that's kind of an issue with me. If it went to Christian, if it went to the people I like, then I'd be like, oh,
Christian gets
great.
all three
Yes.
Billie Eilish.
No, I think that's like a weird, and again, I don't think the fans voted for the boomerang Billie Eilish idol. I think they actually voted for less advantages, but Survivor's just doing what they want, I think.
I think I got to go back to the questions because I know that Jeff just got done saying they voted for more like crazy, like more swaps. And I don't know if that included swaps and advantages, which is the reason why they went so early in the season to a swap. So I'd have to go back and verify that one. As far as the boomerang idol goes, I think that it's going to be curious to see if they ever bring it back, because now that people know that it's a thing, it kind of may have people playing their idols way too early because they don't know if it's a boomer or a Billie Eilish boomerang idol or what kind of idol this is. So I think it changes the way this game is played from here on out, because now there's this advantage that you can give this other person that could be a crux, because now it's used against you because somebody knows you have it already. So it does change up the gameplay considerably, I think. Maybe too much. We'll find out in the future. I kind of like it. Bree, where you at with the Billie Eilish boomerang idol?
I like it. Here's the thing, and I want everyone to just take a pause, because so we've had a couple boomerang idols found and given, not played, but found and given, and it's kind of public knowledge. Like, it's Emily's been spreading. I mean, people are just opening their mouths about it. It's not something that people are keeping really quiet, and so that whole, I'm going to give it to somebody because I think they're going to get voted out, so it comes back to me. So it's not private, and they can get a target on them a lot easier. I thought that was kind of cool. But what I really like, and I think is going to be very interesting, is that Genevieve finds this one last night, and she's like, I'm not telling anyone that I have it. And I think that's really interesting, because I think it's going to play a little different now that she's given it, but she's not telling anybody. She's not telling anyone who's gotten it. I think we're going to see a different way that this idol can be played. So before I make judgment on what I have, would I call it the Billie Eilish one? I mean, do I get free concert tickets and a meet and greet if I find one? Because I kind of would like that. Or even to Zach Brown. I don't care if you could call it a javelin. I don't care.
But if we don't think that Genevieve's going to have a call from Billie Eilish in the next week after she gets off the island and be like, hey, girl, like, I'm so glad you got it. Like, we're lying to ourselves. That's going to take place. They're going to be connected.
Oh,
Dee is probably going to be on a Zach Brown stage in the next year, because she just basically told the world, I cried over the fact that Zach
I don't
Brown
know, though. Did Charlie get on the Eras tour?
Tay-Tay's too big. That's Tay-Tay. That's like up here. Yeah. Zach Brown is not Tay-Tay.
That's true.
But I like what you're saying. Survivor, if anyone from Survivor ever watches this, hopefully you do, they should take your advice, Bree. That's good advice for the fans. So, like, yeah, the Survivor fan, if they're here and they're watching Jeff Probst, if you log on one day, listen to what Bree said. You should make it something for the audience, and you should be like, hey, you watched this episode live, and we appreciate you. Enter here to win a ticket to this person. That would bring the hype up on that. And I love that. Thank you.
Counterpoint to the idol, like Alex, when you talked about Genevieve receiving it, and then she doesn't win anything because with an idol you're supposed to be getting power. Do you think that Genevieve has some power right now in the form of two boomerang idols where she knows exactly where they are, one that no one knows where it is and one that everybody knows where it is, kind of? What's your thoughts on
I think it's more so that it's empowering a person who's weak.
Another person.
It's an advantage to somebody who doesn't necessarily deserve it, and
if she doesn't use it to vote,
it's intentionally used by, somebody who's capable of doing it to give it to somebody who's like, could it form an alliance like how Christian gave it to Aubrey? Yes. And you kind of use it to protect a friend. Yes. But, this season they have kind of a knowledge on who's on the other tribe. So I think it maybe makes sense this type of season. But if you're going to go into a tribe where there's two separate tribes, they don't even know each other, right? Like, how do you give an idol if they're two separate tribes, they don't know who's on the other tribe?
Kind of before. They did it with they did it on what season was that? where it actually saved somebody and they got to leave.
Oh, Rachel.
Yeah.
Paul gave it to Rachel. Yeah, but I think it wasn't because of who she was, it's because of the amount of trouble she was in at the time, from what I remember.
But you could do that with the boomerang idol.
You could. You absolutely.
Very much so.
And I think they did it much later in the season, to where they kind of knew the situations a little bit better than, like you said, Alex, this season where everybody knows everybody's business. She handed Ozzy the idol because she remembers him not being able to use it right. The fact is, it's crazy she gave it to Rizzo after his longevity with the idol last season. She didn't even know that he used the idol to kind of go about his way. So it's a very cool person to give it to if she does plan to use it against him, who was in an alliance with her at one time back when they were first on the tribe. So a very interesting game that Jenny's playing, forming an alliance and kind of going against almost all of them pretty quickly.
I just think Survivor is getting, they've been getting carried away with the idols, the rules, the boomerang idol, the, steal somebody's, half a vote. It's like all these like crazy twist on what an idol was. I think like the good kind of idol was like 3 idols at play, maybe at a time, max at one point during the game. And you find it, it's yours. Or like the other one where it's like you find the idol, but it's attached to a chain that spans the whole island, and you have to carry a treasure chest.
In a candle that you have to de-wax.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. You have to train a canary to go get the idol on a perch. It's like, what?
I want the canary. The Billie Eilish canary idol.
I love the idols. It's the only thing that saved Ozzy so many times when people just kept coming after him. He literally, it's not just Ozzy. Ozzy's just my example because I just love Ozzy. But like when people are really in trouble and they have no one on their side, I agree. Maybe some of them are a little bit out there. Do I love them anyway? Yes. As long as
I like the idol. And I like the Shot in the Dark. I think Shot in the Dark is a good addition. And that's like created some really like crazy, Caleb moment, like it's created some cool like aspects of it. But yeah, just like the tons of twist. And when they did vote, the fans, I voted in real time. It was pretty lopsided for like no twist. And it was lopsided to like give them rice and to not give them shelter supplies. So I just think Survivor had us vote, but then just chose what they wanted to do. Because I voted and I saw the numbers. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, true. Well, I want to move on to the challenge because we talked a little bit about, we started the show with a little bit of a challenge for Brandon. What did you guys think of this challenge as far as it? I think it really, really exposed people on their inability to perform. I was just happy I was on the bench for the first. I was like, good, because she's not going to do well at this one. It looks really hard. And does anybody else did no one learn how to like canoe and what happens when your boat flips, on how to write it? Do they not know how that works? Because nobody was doing it.
I first I want to shout out that I thought the challenge was fantastic, where they had to jump off. You saw Ozzy kind of wait for everybody else to jump in the water, and then he beat everybody to the platform. And then on a small platform, they had to put people on their shoulders to get the bag. So I thought it was incredible. And again, I'm glad they're giving reason for them to maybe keep these stronger players a little bit longer, because sometimes I think we have seasons in a row that basically say strong is nothing compared to what we need. And I'm really surprised they do it in a Survivor area where puzzles are still everywhere. And to maybe even think about, hey, like this person's going to be great at a puzzle sometime soon. I know that the reason they voted out Q wasn't because he was strong, but because he is a player that's going to change anybody's game plan, kind of like an Emily Flippin. But that's besides the point right now. So I get it. But, you're still at 20 people on your tribe and you have no clue how long you're keeping it. I still don't understand the Q vote.
The Q vote out was the worst vote out I've ever seen in my life. I wasn't here last week, guys, and I just want you to know my soul was broken. I was commenting as I was like, let me tell you how I feel, because I was in my emotions because it made no sense. Sorry, I know we're not on that week, but boo.
I know you had to say something, so we'll let you have the time. But then go back to the challenge, like the net with the boat, and yeah, if it wasn't for Jonathan hoisting up that canoe and taking all the water out of it first thing, like
that's how you ride a boat. But they could have gotten under. You flip it over,
who is
right?
going to lift that boat though?
And then you get underneath it, you crack enough to get the air to go inside, and then you have to pick it up and pop it. How many people on it?
They should have asked the lady from 1,000 Lakes, Bree Campano.
10,000 Lakes, let's go. I know how to ride. I took
canoes
basic canoeing. I know how to save myself. I also learned how to sail, so I know a lot of things. And that was pretty easy, and how to pop the boat up. I know it was a heavy boat, but like you have enough people that you could have at least gotten it up and over enough to get a lot of that water out, which would have meant less bailing, faster moving. I felt like the last tribe that they like didn't even get all the water and sand out of it. Like they just left it so heavy because it was so immovable. It was like cemented down for them.
And it's really, you really got, once you, because I've taken water out of canoes, which is just a weird skill to have, I guess. But once you get down to like the level of the water to where it's really hard to like take it out of the boat, but there's still, it adds weight. Then you got to play the game of, okay, is it worth getting this last bit of water out? The answer is always yes, especially since you have to trug it through the sand pit and then on a beam.
You can lift one side of it, and the weird thing about water is it all goes to the other side and gets deeper and easier. I mean,
I think it was we're getting killed. We need to figure out what to do, and
we weren't thinking. Yeah,
like that's
molecules.
Do you know what team wasn't gonna flip that boat over because they have no strength? Oh, okay, because they go off you. All right, just checking.
Christian and Mike White, they're ready to flip that boat.
Yeah, they were.
So, going and then jump. I think we do need to spend an adequate amount of time on what Alex was talking about, and that is probably the vote of the season so far. A classic 3-2-1 Surrey Fields vote of something that you typically don't see until later on in the season when there's 7, when there's 6, I guess. Towards the end, very early. I want to know your guys' thoughts. Where would we even begin talking about this? Do you want me to start with just at the end of tribal, I guess, and go from there? Walk it out.
Alex, go ahead. You have a lot of thoughts on this.
I do. I mean, so it was a big, huge move by Christian. And the decision was, wow, Mike White is so convincing. And he really, he brought Christian to tears. He said, Emily is your Gabby, is your downfall. And we've seen a lot of threat-ish people get at, not really though, right? It's kind of like easy votes in a way, not any big threats. I think you could say that about Q or not. I personally don't agree, but Mike White was a huge threat and his convincing ability. And that's what ended up Christian saying, no, I have to get this guy out now. Why? Because he's better at the game than I am. And Christian is he's playing such a good game. Everyone's saying he's getting the winners at it right now. This was totally his move. It puts him in a tough spot though, because Emily is an unreliable ally. He's pissed off Ozzy, but who cares? I mean, like, is that his alliance member? Not really. He's made a new alliance with, who is it, Steph, right? So he's burned some bridges. He's created some bridges. His threat level is higher, and he's done a lot to mitigate his threat. But I think he just saw Mike and me are too similar, and Mike's actually me, but better. And so I have to vote him off now. It's the opportunity. But if they go back to tribal, Christian might be in a tough spot because he's now a threat on that tribe. He's the power player. And
I think Christian's in a tough spot regardless. I think he's now wearing a bright yellow banana suit to a funeral. Like he is just loud and a target. And I think this was not the right time to take Mike White out, personally.
You mean with 20 people left in the game?
I mean,
it's really early for playing balls to the walls, but keep in mind he's been on 4 tribals so far. Like he's in the game, so he kind of figures, I guess it's later. I think he thinks it's later in the game than it really is because of how many times him, Emily, and Ozzy have attended tribal council together.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I was going to add that I don't think I realized I've watched Mike White's season, and I just don't think I realized how good he was. When I saw him kind of manipulating Christian, I'm like, well, thank goodness Christian is so darn smart, because man, he could have got you. And I don't even know that he was wrong in what he was saying. But Christian peeped it. He's like, he knew he wasn't wrong about what he was saying, but he also realized that he almost changed his mind because of what Mike said. And he knew, you know what I mean? Go ahead, Brandon. I know you had a thought.
You get anybody else but Christian in that situation, and that person's going home.
Yep.
And especially somebody, there's still 11 people who haven't been to tribal council, and it's episode 4. Yep. So like, there's a lot of people that were, have not had that first tribal experience to get over that nerves. All 11 of them would have done what Mike said.
And that's what I'm saying. Everyone else, anyone besides Christian, and I would have flipped the vote. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. I was like, oh, he got me. Like, it was kind of like, okay, I see. But Christian was like, oh, he's so good. He got me. Man, maybe I should wait a second. He got me. I'm not going out like that. And he flipped the vote. And I don't think it was wrong. I think he did the right move for him at the right time, because it seems like Mike White was just going to flip everybody else. And he saw it and he got him out. So I'm not mad at it. Was it early? Yes. But I'm not mad at it.
I think he's made a mistake, though. I think putting his trust in Emily is going to be Christian's downfall. I think
Emily is a downfall.
she's just
flipping. Her name is
flipping. But she's yapping and flipping.
But what about him behind Emily, Ozzy's back? Don't you do it. I was rolling. I was almost on the floor laughing. If I hadn't hurt my back, I would have been on the floor laughing. He's in the background like, you better not. I was like, ooh.
Mike White had the best joke of the season. Emily is a cougar in a Renfield fair in girl's body. That's so true. That was really good. I know I'm going to miss Mike White so much. He's such an awesome person to have on Survivor, and wish he could go farther.
Yeah.
Happy for Christian. But yeah, I think if anything, he's been such, and I don't know. I know Mike White would flip on Christian. It was just a matter of when. And I think that's what Christian said. It's like Mike White, like he said, I'm the Machiavellian person out here controlling everybody. I'm the puppeteer. And he is, right? And Christian saw that and said, eventually he is going to get me off, because Mike White sees, hey, they're too similar too, Christian and him. So it was cool to see Christian peep it. But I'd love to see him and Devins and that group all work together and then have a brainiac off, right? But not happening.
I would have loved that. I would have loved it. Did anybody think that Emily flipping was going to be flipping her vote at the tribal last night? Because I thought she was going to turn it into a tie.
Yeah.
And is it one tie to rocks now, or is it 2 again? Because I remember there was a season where it was like one tie and you're going straight to rocks. Is it more than one now?
More than one.
It is 2. Okay. So I was like, oh, she's flipping. Darn flipping Emily.
And I think if anything, it does for about 5 minutes give Christian. Emily goes back in Christian's pocket, since she says, hey, maybe Chris, I want to hear what Christian's perspective of this. I wonder if he stuck with keeping Emily over Mike, because Emily was starting to get paranoid again and talking about the vibe check. And so now Christian can utilize that and be like, hey, Emily, like, remember when you had these bad vibes before? Like, trust me. And then he can turn on her at that time. So like, I think if Christian's smart, he can utilize the fact that she said the vibes were off, and yet they weren't. And Christian can in the future be like, okay, anytime you think the vibes are off, just remember you were wrong before, and then totally blindside her with that. He is that smart to do that. Will he? Or will it be a Gabby situation? Who knows? I did love the ghost of Gabby. That
I did too.
Fantastic.
And I was going to say something to Johnny Fairplay about how he still made it on the show in one way or the other, right? He wasn't actually on the show this season, but he's been on the show, right? Because they did flashbacks. They talked about him. So he did get his name in season 50, even though he didn't get paid for it.
Right.
Sorry, Johnny. Well, I love Fairplay. I wish he hadn't quit that one time, but I love Fairplay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
okay, so we got to move into what's going to be happening in the upcoming episode, because we have a double elimination. And then Brandon, you've got some fun stuff that you wanted to talk about. You got some slides that I can share.
Yes, let's go into the slides real quick, and then we'll be talking about the preview. So again, Vanua is your Facebook group for community. and we'd love for you to be a part of that group. So what we do on Tuesdays is take a Tribal Tuesday where everybody who's in it, everybody, even Zach Brown and Billie Eilish can join us and vote for who they think is going to be eliminated, who's the way too early prediction, the fan favorite of Vanua, and who Vanua wants to be eliminated. So really crazy stuff here. If you look at it, Christian is the overall favorite this season of 38% or 33% of the people out there, which is crazy. There's 20 people on that island still, and 1/3 of the people are Christian Hubicki ends. They also think that he has a chance of winning this game as well. What you also see is Rizzo. A lot of people thinking he's in trouble. The elimination is always a hard one to pick because you also have to figure what tribe is going to lose that week. I don't know why people had such a trouble figuring out how this weak tribe during a physical aspect of the game still to be played was ever going to win. Rizzo looks like his days are numbered and they're counting on the Charlie thing, but this coming episode it looks like D and Rizzo are going to be talking a little bit, and then Coach has been on this would eliminate, like his picture is solid right there of people who want to see Coach gone. We had the Aussie Coach conversation like last week or 2 weeks ago. I still think that Coach is great TV, but doesn't have a chance to win. Does any of this surprise you guys? You can see on the bottom, just to let you know, who came in second and third in those polls. Anything that you guys want to talk about when it comes to what the people, the hands of the fans are?
They got to get Cerie's name out of their blanking mouth. That's my opinion.
I love Cerie.
I don't want to see her on the elimination list.
Yes.
That's all I got to say.
Me neither. Yeah. No. I'm shocked that Coach is there who to eliminate. I thought that our Vanuan community, myself included, were all going for D. She's already won. You got your million. Bye.
Coach gives people the ick.
Okay, but like Coach is his own self. You got to give Coach props for who he is. Does he frustrate me because of how he turned on Ozzy twice? Yes. But Ozzy also stopped him from getting $1 million once. So I feel like they're even. So I let it go. Coach is a bit much, but he's true to himself. I mean, even if his self isn't necessarily right, like, his honor, but then he stole the key. But we go back. I digress.
I do like Coach. I mean, he's getting his hair braided. So I liked that. I was like, cool. Because I would probably be doing that and braiding hair all the time. Just because it's so long. Otherwise, it'll be just gnarly. But here's the thing. We've spent so much time and Christian and Angelina and Emily flipping all the time, and it's like we haven't really seen the others' games as much. We saw it a little bit in the beginning with Cerie and Ozzy and some of the stuff that was being maneuvered over there, but now that things have switched, we've kind of no one even said anything about Colby, who is now apparently someone has body swapped him with Kevin Costner, and he is now gonna Waterworld his way to the end, and so there's so many good players that are still in this game that I honestly think Christian's in that banana suit and he is way too big right now, and I think outside of where he is and if they swap again, Christian's going to be one of the first ones they're going to get rid of. I honestly believe that.
If he wins the season, he's going to be doing spectacular. This is going to be like a King George season for him with all the things that he'll need to do. Because I just don't see how he has an option to lay low with the amount of control he's casting on, especially flipping. It's going to be interesting. Anybody else want to say anything before I'm going to go to our Mike White slides here in a second? Anybody else have any opinions about these in the hands of the fans?
This picture of Christian is crazy. This is like when blue-eyed people, as a blue-eyed, they're like when they look at you. He looks possessed.
He's a man possessed right now.
He is. I agree. If Christian wins, this guy's a legend. This guy, he is a King George figure to be a level 99 brainiac.
Yeah.
To win this season with the cards that he's been dealt.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'll put him on top five. Top five.
Team Christian, let's go, guys.
He's growing on me. At the beginning, I was like, dude, after the net thing. But anyway, now he's.
That was so funny.
It was funny. Oh my gosh, go ahead, move on.
All right, we'll move on. And we've already talked a little bit about Mike Veit. Just explain the vote a little bit. You had 3. And I thought, again, the magic of Christian is he put 2 other people on here that weren't even like aligned together. It wasn't like, hey, David and Goliath crew, let's go vote a 3-2-1. No, let's take people who voted differently last tribal. I'm going to put them together. They have nothing really in common. Emily even spoke kind of like Stephanie was forcing her to do things. And now she's being forced by Christian to do things. So I just think that Christian is such a great way that he's utilizing his power. Again, maybe too early. We have 20 people left still. And then Ozzy all by himself down there voting out Angelina. Thoughts or comments you guys want to make about the 3-2-1? Last chance for that.
Well, the Mike White photo we have here is actually from World War Z. I don't know what this is.
I was about to say, what is going on here?
Really
what happened to
again
Mike?
with the eyes?
I messed up on the contrast of Mike White. Mike White, I apologize.
It was like a scarecrow or something. It's creepy. I agree, though. The alliance here was very odd because Christian didn't really have an alliance so much with Stephanie at all, right? It wasn't really explicit. You know, they have kind of the old school connection. And then to bring in Emily, who I don't even, I guess her and Stephanie were somewhat friendly. And Stephanie was very kind of uneasy about Emily. So, but I think they just saw, yes, Mike White, such a threat. This is just something that a lot of people don't do on Survivor a lot, is get out that massive threat. In American Survivor, they let the massive threat go on a little bit too long, and maybe they're kind of learning from those lessons of past American Survivors. Yep.
We're losing out on good brain power. I hate that Mike is gone. He's like you said, he's a massive threat, but right now with where they're at, I don't know. They still need brains, even if he doesn't have brawn. I like Mike White. My biggest issue with this vote is that Ozzy was left out of it. And please understand, I know why he was, because I think he would have been like trying to flip it back, and Christian already had control. But it hurt me to see them leaving out, and I just feel like it's gonna hurt his little feelings. So I hope they have a tribe swap soon, so he doesn't get in bad with the people that he's with now, because it left a bad taste in his mouth.
It's kind of like same old Ozzy. It's like he can't catch a break. This guy, he's like, oh, I'm gonna have a different season and play more strategic. It's like left out of every vote.
Yes.
Has no control over the game. It's outsmarted by Emily.
But yeah, don't say
right. I agree. I mean, he had an idol too. Would he use it on Mike White? No. But I mean, it'd be an option.
He was his fairy godmother, which is Suri, right? Suri is his godmother, his fairy godmother, and she was doing really well. And now he's back in the castle scrubbing the floors, left out of everything. The shoes don't fit. He doesn't have being targeted. He's not being targeted, but he's just being left behind, and he's just kind of. I feel bad for, and that's why he was like, it was 8 fish, not 7, 8. And I think he's like, okay, he flipped to what he knows. Even before, like, he hadn't even been voted out. Didn't know he was this left out of things, but I think he could probably feel that he was left out of things and like wasn't in these conversations. When you're not in the conversations. Mm-hmm. And then I think the Emily thing probably confused him, because he was just like, what? And like, I don't understand, because they all told me it was Angelina, and now they're saying it's then they're saying it's Emily, and he was just, so he's like, I gotta fish, I gotta feed these people, remind them why I'm here, so they don't say my name next. But he is a lost little dog and needs a home. My biggest shock to the whole thing was the Stephanie thing, because I feel like Ozzy is where she was last week. Like, she was kind of left out and almost going home, and really wasn't. She was kind of losing her grip on everything. And so this week she was, this time she was like, whatever you need me to do, like, I'll vote. Yes, I'll vote with you on this. And she was trying to, like, pick me and let me stay, and, all these things. And She played the game. I don't think it's serving her game. I just don't think. I think that she was just a number that they needed. I don't think this was making inroads by any means into a new kind of alliance for her.
I think this was a very old school mindset of, okay, you just took out me and the guy you took out are the only ones that voted together, and so that must mean I'm on the bottom and I'm going out next, which was a very old school way of thinking, not thinking about the new school way of being like, okay, I don't even have to think about you for another 5 episodes because you have nobody you're with. So I think that if she would have been thinking with the mindset of, okay, let's figure out who the next power 2 are and we'll go destroy them. But I think she was playing such a defensive, as long as it's not me game, she could have been a pawn for anybody if they spoke louder. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, maybe, look at the star power of the great Zach Brown. Okay. No, but they're all fawning on him. They're all laying at his feet. They're crying at every word he says. Oh my gosh. Mike White has that star power.
Yeah.
He goes into the other tribe and he is a dominant force, and people do he has an effect on people and they want to be around him, and they're wanting to be on White Lotus. So if Mike makes it to the merge, I mean, that is a big thing. And I think I think you're right. Like, Stephanie felt she was at the bottom. They want to break up that 3. Ozzy said that you can't have everything you want necessarily. They broke up the 3, and maybe they even broke, is Angelina going to be able to mend that bridge with Christian? I think so, because Angelina doesn't really have much place to go, but maybe she'll just become a total wild card, right?
Well, Christian
It's hard to
got
say
there, so maybe she'll feel some sort of like, I need to help Christian, because if he didn't flip the vote, it was supposed to be Angelina. So
it's true. And Mike White was trying to turn it to Emily, and so is Angelina going to understand that? I think so. I know her and Mike White are friends. She said Mike White is my best friend. Now, I would say that too about Mike White if I knew him. You're my best friend.
She's already been on White Lotus.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So, like,
this is my best friend. Hey, Mike.
Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike. Hey, boo.
I can't believe how they did you, Mike.
Gosh, I'm enraged.
Let's talk about it. Calm.
Right.
I am.
Absolutely. Over some Zach Brown music. So if you go to the next slide, again, this was his statistics going in. The first ones are what people, will he be eliminated in their prediction? He was 5th place in that with 6% of the vote. Would you eliminate him? So this is what the tribe of Anua, the fans would do. And he was very low on the fans list as far as, no, he's not a big threat right now, tied for 16th. And then would he win? Dead last. Like Angelina dead last, Tiffany dead last is where he was positioned, tied for last there. And do you want him to win? Had a good 1% of the people out there wanting to be on White Lotus, tied for 14th. So there's the stats for Mike. If you keep on going, it shows a little bit more, and that is 1 for 1 on tribal council voting. Challenge wins. He had 2 group ones, and then the relationships he made was a 1 vote with the David Goliath Alliance, and then his parting ways with Ozzy at the end. So last thoughts on Mike White before we get to preview stuff.
I was highly against you being voted out, Mike.
I was against it too, Mike. I wouldn't have voted you out. I will say this. There was one little line that I had to rewind and watch again because I wanted to make sure I heard it right. And it was Christian to Ozzy, and Ozzy's response at the end of Tribal Council.
Too late.
We'll talk about it in the morning.
Too late.
And Ozzy said, too late.
That is his biggest downfall. He just gets so defensive when things don't go his way. And that's what, I swear to goodness, it's how a lot of his alliances break. Like it's like you said a minute ago, Brandon, it looks like you're on the bottom when you're left completely out of the boat like that. But if he would just listen, he would understand you weren't on the bottom. We just didn't think that you would go along with this, but he's not going to get it. And that's going to be his downfall if there's not a swap soon.
It was a courtady. It was really a courtesy. It was a courtesy by Christian. He's like, we don't want to put you in that position. We want you to be on White Lotus, dude. And yeah, the Ozzy thing, he, fair play, apparently hanging out with Ozzy a lot. You don't know with that guy, you know what I mean? But he said Ozzy's all vibes. And you think Christian's passing the vibe check with Ozzy? I don't think so. They're not really vibing. Fair play isn't vibing with Christian. These are opposite sides of the spectrum. This is good. Ozzy's a good guy, but they're just totally different personalities. And, like Emily thinking that she's vibing with Ozzy, get real, like that ain't happening. So, yeah, I don't think, and I think that's what Christian knows. He's like, I'm not going to build any inroads with Ozzy. Mm-hmm. And, if we come aligned, it'll be happenstance, if anything.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's also good that they didn't really know that Mike and Ozzy were all that close. I think they probably been like, oh, I think Ozzy wants to, I think Christian said he wants to be on White Lotus and do that. But as far as like knowing each other from like him going to hang out with him at his bar or whatever it was in California they were doing. So it's good that they weren't doing it because Ozzy, they were doing it because of what Mike said, obviously. So I think that Ozzy's still not seen as a strong threat right now, which is good for Ozzy. Yeah. If they were to go back on this double elimination vote, I think Ozzy could be safe, and especially he's got that idol. So we could see something pretty big this coming season if Ozzy's able to get out of his own head. But Suri ain't there to talk him down from this little cliff he's on when he talks a little bit too much about too late. We'll see.
We'll see. Well, we've got a super fan in the house.
We do.
Yes.
Great. On Vanua, we have a Fan of the Week Friday, where every single week in the island of Vanua, the tribe of Vanua, we select somebody that has been on an idol hunt somewhere in the country, that has been a fan of Survivor for their whole entire lives plus 12 years, who is equally as awesome and keeps the community jiving on Vanua. And we are happy to say that Carmini, hopefully I'm saying that correctly.
You are.
Right.
Well done.
I'm not done here, and my two cohorts will tell you that I do not get names right. So take that. She's a lecturer from Arizona, and welcome to Spill the Immunity, Carmini.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome. And this is my first podcast. So can I be am I a celebrity now?
You are the Zach Brown.
You're a celebrity. We're celebrities.
Mike White hopes we call him.
Yeah.
You don't want him to call us.
How do I get on White Lotus now?
This is it.
That's what we were just talking about.
This is the casting call. We're doing it right now.
So first you have to sing us 5 songs and catch us some fish to be a celebrity on our show. So if you can do that. Just tell us your experience. What does Survivor mean to you, Carmini?
Okay, well, I'm going to date myself here. I began watching back in 2000 when I was about 29 years old. And I'm sure you know the very first season was filmed in Malaysia. And that's where I'm from, awesome. My home country. So it was really thrilling to be able to watch the very first season in my hometown. And, I was hooked from episode 1. It was great. But I did not realize it was going to be such a global phenomenon, this show. Have not missed a single episode of any season, but after a couple of years the Malaysian networks stopped showing Survivor, so I did miss a couple of years, a few years. Then when I moved back to the US, I got caught up on every single episode. So and I've had one watch party, I guess, in Malaysia. My family is not really into it. My husband is. My husband I watch faithfully every Wednesday or Thursday, depending if our son has track. So that's my story. And then I went on the Arizona idol hunt, met some great people, had some great fun.
Tell us about that. What did you guys do in Arizona? Each state was different as far as a challenge or who you met. Give us a little bit of the lowdown.
Right. Well, in Arizona, we're in a desert, right? So they had us do a hike, a really easy hike. It was.
There's no such thing as an easy hike in Arizona.
I was going to be like, I'm out. I show up like, oh, I'm so excited. Like, you just got to hike up here.
No. I am not. Trust me, I am not a hiker. Reason 300,000 that I would not be in Survivors because I'm deathly afraid of snakes, right? So that's why I don't go on hikes. But this was, it was clear path, very easy, wasn't really high. So we went up, we just walked up to the idol, really. And then the idol was there. And I was really lucky because right before it was my turn to take a photo with the idol, they stopped the line. Like, why are you stopping the line? Then we see Genevieve walk up to the idol.
Oh, wow. Well, of course, she just walks up to idols all the time now.
Right? So she had some promo thing to do, I guess, for her social media. So and because I was the next one in line, they allowed just me to go take a photo with her and the idol. So that was kind of cool.
That is cool.
That is
I get bragging rights on that.
That's cool.
Share that picture. I want to see it. That's so cool.
Yeah, actually, we have that picture. So, Bree, if you can throw back on fan of the week, we have a picture of her and Genevieve, the only person. I'm surprised if she finds a third Boomerang idol. Do you think she's going to give it to you, Carmini?
Oh man, I hope so. I did not exchange contact details with her though. No. And then Tyson and Rome were there too, so I got photos with them as well.
I just want to point out these people. So you see Tyson with her in the cutout picture on the left-hand side, just above her name. You have Genevieve down there with the blue circle just flying around. Then you have, is that Rome or who?
Rome. It was Rome.
Yep, Rome right there. And then just tell us about the people, because this is Hands of the Fans. Tell us about your Vanua, your people that you either brought or you met in line. How was that?
You know, I saw people there with little kids, and that was amazing. You know, the kids were all well behaved. I saw people with dogs, even, you know, because we're gonna hike, right? So it was fun. I did like survivor trivia with them. I played my Survivor theme music and walked up and down the line because there was no music. They should have had the Survivor theme music. We did that. We asked the usual questions. You know, who do you think will win? Who don't you want to win? So the time really flew by fast because you were talking to fellow fans. It's a great community.
It is a fantastic community. We welcome here to Spill Immunities, and thank you for joining us. We do, before we leave, I want your hot take on this season so far. And then we're going to go into some predictions. So what's your hot take so far for season 50, Hands of the Fans?
Man, the last two tribals stunned me. I did not expect Q to go.
Thank you.
So what? You. And I did not expect Mike White to go. And I may get roasted for this, but too much Zach Brown yesterday.
Hey, you're in a good community. Yeah, you're in the right space for that. I got to hear favorite player of all time. You got to know that.
Sari Fields.
Sari. Oh my gosh, you got to talk to Bree.
I just love
the Sari fan. I love Sari.
The way her mind works. She's brilliant. Her thinking. Did you guys watch her on The Traders?
She's phenomenal.
Yes, and for coming back 5 times for the 5th time and knowing she's not good at physical challenges, but she keeps coming back. So to me, that says a lot. You know, I want her to win this whole thing, but I don't think they're gonna let her get that far. I hope she's able to, do her mind tricks and get them to take her to the final tribal council. But
I hope she wins.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's weird knowing that him or Sari and Christian were on the same tribe already, but I kind of want to see them get back on that same tribe just to see them play the mind games against each other because it's going to have to happen. Yeah. I'm excited for that. Carmini, we had a Hands the Fans draft at the very beginning of the season, and we're going to put that up on the board right now just to show how everybody's doing. Okay. But we do want your comment as far as who you think, and we have a double elimination, so it's going to be Ozzy's tribe and someone else. And who do you think is going to go home? We'll give you some time to think. Right now, we're doing pretty good. These fans are doing pretty good. There's only one player out of their first 2 picks that have been eliminated, so still plenty of their first votes or first picks still in this thing. We see Mike White was a 3rd pick of Jamie. Carmini, who are the 2 people going home next week?
I want Rizzo to go. I'm going to say Rizzo. Okay. I don't like Rizzo.
Okay, so Charlie's going to get his wish and take out Rizzo, perhaps. Carmini, who's your 2nd elimination?
Oh man, Emily's too small.
Or do you think Ozzy's tribe is going to prevail and they're the only ones not going to tribal? Where are we at?
I think they might go, and Stephanie might go.
Okay, so you're good.
Yes,
Stephanie and Rizzo are your picks. Yes. Perfect. Bree, what you got? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, well, my dog keeps barking. I like that. I think Rizzo, I'm fine with Stephanie and Rizzo going, actually. I'm okay with that. I'd like to see Rizzo go just because I want to see Charlie. I want to see the Rizzo takedown by Charlie because I really like that dynamic, and I really want to see, like, I think for me it'll make up for Charlie. Will feel like he's gotten a little payback from the. I think for him it'll be a big win for him. I just like to see that. Charlie, I'm not as much of a fan of the Riz God, but we'll see. The way I watch what they do and who's with who at like events and different things like that. And Rizzo keeps showing up. I keep seeing him with Sari. I don't know what's going on with that. It makes me wonder. I see Joe a lot, so I'm like, what does all this mean? But I actually think if going to tribal, I think Chrissy might be in a little bit of trouble. Just because we didn't see her at all this episode really, except for just like little bits here and there. But like I kind of feel like Chrissy just doesn't know how to deal with it. I think what Coach told her really shook her up, and so she's having I think it took her out of her game. And I don't know how she'll recover. We didn't really see how she'll recover this episode, but there's only a few days between all these things. So even though it's been a week for us, it's only been a couple days. So we'll see how she comes out of that. I do think Rizzo's in trouble just because of Charlie. Now, will he double flip it back and Charlie is the one that goes? I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I wanted to point out one thing which we didn't mention, but Carmini, just so you're aware, Alex is actually here. He is in Vietnam right now, but he has spent a lot of time in Malaysia. Good. Vivi Wong, a friend of ours, is over. So just I think Alex went to be on Survivor. He thought that he got cast, and he's been wandering aimlessly around Southeast Asia for the last year plus. So
you're
looking for Jeff, I guess. I don't know.
Probably.
Alex, what do you think?
Yeah,
did you like Malaysia?
Yeah, I love Malaysia. We were in Kuala Lumpur, Georgetown, Penang, and we got to go back to go to Borneo.
Okay.
But I was in Malaysia for about 2.5 months.
Okay.
Loved it. It's great.
Yeah, I'm from
humid.
Kuala Lumpur. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very humid.
It is.
Who do I think is going to go home next? I mean, wishful thinking. We're hoping. I hope it's the Riz God. Will he play his idol? I don't think so. I think if you look at last season, he's going to hold on to it as long as possible. He wants to make it as if he was smart, I think anybody who has this boomerang idol, they would play it almost immediately or very soon, right? But I don't think he is, and I think Charlie might be able to get him. That'd be really cool. I do think that the Habiki tribe is going to go back to tribal, and which I really don't want to happen, but I just can't see a universe where it doesn't happen. And I'm thinking that Emily actually goes home. It's a concession by Christian to say, you know what, I just needed Mike out. Emily was just a number here, It is his closest ally, but I think he was a little bit on the fence about her just being, for such a smart person, she has so little impulse control. I think Christian looks at her and says, this person's like me, but is realizing she's not like me. She's not a nerd. And I think the Gabby comment was true by Mike, and he's going to take action on it. So that's what I'm thinking. Hopefully so. Because I don't like Emily. Emily can get out of here.
I wouldn't say, okay, my quick picks. I do not dislike Emily. I just think she talks too much. So I assume my tribe is going to go back. But what I think is going to happen is I think they're going to come back together and get Angelina, which was Ozzy's original thing, to kind of show loyalty to Ozzy. So I think if they go back, Angelina's going to make her way out of the game this time because of that. And then I guess my other one would be probably D, because she has already won. I'm not gonna keep saying. I feel like I don't think it's gonna be Rizzo. I think it'd be a very hard push for it to be Rizzo, because one, I think he's gonna play his idol. He knows that these people did not see his season, so you know what I mean. They don't know how he held on to that idol before, so I think that he might actually feel the heat and do it. Also, it's making for good television that who's going after him?
Charlie.
It's making for television that Charlie's like, you didn't take your number one, I'm going to get you. That gets me every time. So I think that's going to last for a little bit longer. So I'm going to keep my guess on D. And I'm going to say if my tribe with Ozzy, because I forget which one he is on now that he's no longer on his original tribe. But if they go back, I do think it's going to be Angelina.
Yeah, Charlie gets this wild look in his eyes when he starts talking about Rizzo. It's really fun. I like an irrational hatred for another player. Just like, I don't like this guy. And then he's just like hell bent on getting him out. And D is a good choice. I think.
Yep.
About that.
Yeah, he's doing that one psychological thing, and I can't think of what the word is, but he's taken all of his emotions and pissed offness that he has for Maria, and he's transferring it onto Rizzo, which I love.
Undeserved. Riz God is just out here having fun, doing the least amount of work he can to help his tribe.
He is not all that and a bag of chips. I am sorry.
I like this season last year, but yes, go ahead.
Brandon, who is going home?
I don't see Vatu winning anything, but I do think that this is Ozzy. This is Oscar. This is Oscar we're talking about. I think he's going to go from too late to sleeping on it and realizing the best thing I can do right now with 5 people is to let's try to save this group as much as possible. I think he's going to combine with Stephanie, Emily, and Christian once again. Christian's going to work hard to do this and vote out Angelina to save face a little bit, to bury himself, to say, hey, I will throw out a Dave and Goliath, the second one in a row, and really make the other 2 tribes know that I'm not part of this Dave and Goliath alliance. That will help his risk a little bit before they go into maybe another swap, because dear Lord, that tribe needs it. So I think Angelina's gone for that reason. A little bit more of a safer vote for all of them. I don't know enough about Kalo at this time. I think they're showing them very little because there's not going to be anything that comes from them. I think they're safe for this. And I think Jonathan will get delivered his first blow when it comes to losing before a merge. And in that tribe, they're showing Charlie an awful lot, and I'm getting worried that they're fronting the story and they're saying that he's going to play this one-dimensional Ghost of Maria game, and he's a little bit too much, maybe too trustworthy too soon after not going to tribal. D will work her magic, and I almost believe that Charlie will be voted off this tribe this week, which I'm sad about. But
that's a hot take.
That is a hot take. That's a complete opposite of my take. I love it. It's valid.
We're going with it.
Good reason.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks to our special super fan of the week, Carmini, and thanks for Johnville for being here. Our other co-hosts now, which we love having you here. Brandon and Alex, fantastic as always. We'll see everybody next week. It's going to be a big one. And we appreciate you guys hanging out. Get your Spill the Immunity t-shirt. I'll put the link in the chat.
Ooh.
I know. I got merch.
Can you bring that thing forward? Show them the shirt.
I'll show it next time. Maybe I'll wear it or something.
Thank you.
Spill Immunity. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.